Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a Two Trees SK1 impressions video. I want to thank Two Trees for sending this printer out to me so I could take a look at it. I'm a little bit conflicted on this printer. I don't really know who this would be for. I have an idea, but I would be curious to what you guys think in the comments. So, first impressions of the printer, the build quality seems to be very good. I really do like the metal frame here. It's very well built. Everything lines up nice. It's quite heavy duty. We can see really heavy duty linear rails on all axes. Everything is metal, like all the connecting pieces, all that kind of stuff. The bed uses nice big linear rails as well. You know, on first glance, this printer looks very, very nice. When I got the printer out, I did start having some quality assurance issues with the printer. It would not home correctly. It was binding and stuff. So basically I had to undo the belts and I had to undo some of the frame and kind of spend some time readjusting the printer a little bit. I don't know if that was caused in shipping or what was going on. So if you are interested in this printer, please note that, yours might show up with a little bit of issues or stuff like that. You can definitely see the, heavily inspired Bamboo Lab printer in this. The tool head's kind of very similar looking. It has the exact build area, 256 by 256. My biggest issue with the printer is I don't know why someone would buy this over like a P1P or a P1S. In my opinion, this printer is too much money. This is the same price as a P1P. So for me, I would choose the Bamboo Lab mainly because I know that I can, one, add on an enclosure later on if I wanted to. There's a lot of models out there to print enclosures for that. I can also put on the multi-material AMS onto the Bamboo Lab, which is a huge benefit later on. And I'm not talking from a multicolor standpoint. I'm talking about just to have some filament storage and actually be able to swap between filament colors without any effort. Swapping filaments all the time is inconvenient, and I use my AMS strictly to swap filaments. So, I might be printing PLA one day and then I want to print ABS. I don't have to walk over to my printer and do the whole unloading loading procedure. I have both of those loaded in my printer. So it's a huge time saver. And if there's anyone looking for an actual workhorse printer, in my opinion, just go with the Bamboo Lab. This printer potentially, I guess, could be for somebody who wants a CoreXY printer that's pre-assembled, but they want to tinker with it. So it'd be nice. It might be nice for people to mod. Again, I'm going to turn this on here. As with pretty much all printers, there's about 15 fans that run when the printer's just sitting idle. It does have an LED, which is a nice touch. At least sometimes that's missed on OEM printers. I am really not a fan of the screen. This is like vanilla Klipper that they give you access to, which is great, but I don't know why they decided to make their own screen interface. It's definitely not as useful. Again, it just seems to me, I don't know if they're wanting to separate themselves like for brand recognition, so this is a Two Trees machine. But I would have just ran the normal Klipper interface. It is definitely more useful. Like this just has the basics on, controlling a printer. You can start prints from here and you can do homing and stuff like that, but like I don't see any macros or anything like that. Another thing that is a little bit interesting about this was the instruction manual for this printer. It kind of just tells you how to unbox the printer and then just leaves you there. So if I was buying this printer and this is my first printer, it does not give you any steps on how to set up Orca or, you know, Super Slicer or Cura or anything like that. You do get your typical USB drive with like a Cura install on there and like some profiles, but there's no instructions on how to use those whatsoever. I did go in and build myself an Orca profile, but again, there needs to be much more documentation on having users be able to use a couple different slicers with this machine. That wouldn't be too difficult. But yeah, the manual just kind of stops and says, oh yeah, you know, your printer's assembled, have fun. So that's definitely a pretty big disadvantage in my opinion for a printer, you know, an OEM kind of printer like this. Print quality is quite decent. This is an issue with the filament here. This isn't caused by the printer itself. This is kind of one of my favorite prints that I usually like to print. This was at 0.25 layer height, so not crazy high detail layer height. I kind of just did this print relatively quick. But you can see it does the details really nicely. There's no stringing or anything like that. And overall, the printer is a functional, nice printer. It's just lacking in a few areas. And honestly, I think it should be at least $100 cheaper. Again, I really struggle as to why someone would buy this. Like I say, unless they don't want to build a printer from scratch, but they still want to tinker with Klipper and mod and stuff like that. This machine does have a tool head board in here. So it does have an accelerometer, which is nice. Again, there was no macro setup to run Input Shaper. I had to do that myself. You know, there's an accelerometer and there should be a macro there for users to be able to rerun Input Shaper, because I had to do that when I was retensioning the belts and stuff like that. So again, there's probably a little bit of polish lacking on the interface, a couple macros and things like that that are lacking. I would really prefer to see a genuine Klipper screen here, not this kind of dumbed down Two Trees version. Like I say, the printer should be cheaper. There's too many fans running. Like, the printer's not even doing anything and the fans are running like crazy in the bottom. I think there's even some fans running on the tool head right now, whether that's for cooling or what. But yeah, like I say, it's a bit of a shame that, you know, on first glance, the printer looks like a really robust kind of workhorse, but it just seems to be lacking some stuff. I also noticed too, like, the frame is inset here for, it looks like, you know, there are eventually going to sell enclosure. I don't see an enclosure on the Two Trees website at all, but it looks like there are provisions to sell an add-on enclosure. I don't really know how they're going to do the top because of the cable chain. Again, it looks like there are some sort of provisions for the enclosure, but I really have no idea how they're going to do the top, whether it'll be like a top hat or something like that, if they actually are going to do an enclosure. But so yeah, this is kind of my initial thoughts. I've played around with the printer a little bit. Like I say, I think the print quality is decent. It is a heavy-duty, robust machine. Fit and finish seems to be okay. It's just there needs to be more documentation. It needs to be about $100 cheaper. And, you know, I really wish that they would have kind of given you more standard of a Klipper interface and a couple more helpful macros, and kind of just even told the user a little bit more about the printer. And, you know, if you need to calibrate input shaper, there should be a macro and stuff like that. So that's kind of like my quick impressions video, everyone. Check out the printer if you think it's nice. Maybe there'll be some sales or deals on. You know, I think the printer potentially has potential, but not at this price point. Like I say, there's not really much of a reason to purchase this from my perspective. So thanks again, everyone, and definitely stay tuned for some awesome custom printer videos coming soon, and I'll catch you all next time.